Hey everybody, I'm Bobby Tonelli with Tech360.tv. Has Samsung reimagined the camera, or is it all just marketing hype? We're about to find out in our review of the Galaxy S9 and the Galaxy S9 Plus. First, let's talk about the similarities and the differences from the S8 and the Note 8 and so forth. Design language is pretty much the same. If you like it, you're gonna love these phones. Personally, I think these are some of the best designed phones on the market right now. Samsung has done a stellar job. Thin glass on the front and back. Yes, it's a fingerprint magnet, but nonetheless, it is sleek, it's beautiful, and the new colors this year even make it look better. Let's talk about the specs here first and foremost. You've got the new Exynos 9810 processor in this thing, octa-core, 5.8-inch Infinity display, 8 megapixel front camera, 12 megapixel super speed dual pixel rear camera with manual aperture 1.5 and 2.4. That's a mouthful. That's where this camera really shines, is because there's a lot of new technology in this camera that really makes it unique. 3,000 milliamp battery in this will last a full day on this display. It's good, especially with the power management system in the new Android Oreo update, as well as Samsung Skin. You've got Dolby Atmos sound on the top and bottom speaker. Sounds great. Also, you got USB-C fast charging. You've got a headphone jack. Not many phones have it anymore, but this does. And it's very ergonomic. To be honest with you, between these two phones, if you're into sports and fitness, or you want something smaller, a 5.8-inch display phone that's built like this feels really good in the hand. Now, let's talk about the thing I don't like about the S9, and something I wish Samsung would have improved upon. Actually, two things. First and foremost, the memory inside this phone, only 64 gigabytes. It's the only way you can get it. You want extra memory, you can put it into the memory card slot here with the SIM card. You can do dual SIM, or you can do single SIM with memory card, up to 400 gigabytes. But I think they could have improved the onboard storage with this. They could have given at least 128 or 256, or give you the option to do so. Because some people don't always want to go to a bigger phone. They want a small phone with the memory. The second thing I don't like is that Samsung omitted the dual lens on this phone. It's only available on the S9 Plus. Why? I think they're pushing people to the S9 Plus, to be frank with you, if I'm going to be honest. But I feel that was a big mistake on this phone. 5.8-inch display is pretty big, and it's probably a size most people are really comfortable with. I felt that Samsung could have implemented that and put that latest technology into this phone and really made the camera shine even better than what it is. But let's talk about the S9 Plus, because this is obviously the flagship that Samsung is pushing. I have it in midnight black, stealthy, sexy. If you want a skin to put on the back so you don't make it a fingerprint magnet, this is probably the color you want to get. You got the dual lens here. It's 12 megapixels on each side, optic image stabilization, just like the S9. It's in this as well. You got the f1.5, f2.4 aperture, manual aperture inside of this thing. You've got that super speed dual pixel sensor. You've got face detection autofocus. This is a phenomenal camera. But Samsung software is hit and miss. Now, I actually appreciate what Samsung did on this. They changed the camera app. They made it much more user-friendly. If you think it sort of looks like iOS, you could be right. It does. It has a little bit, some similarities to it, but it works. And let me show you what I'm talking about here. See, as you have here, you swipe between the different modes now. No more having to go into another page and select the mode that you want. It's all really right here at a swipe of your finger. And it's brilliant. Thank you, Samsung, for doing this. I appreciate it. But here's the thing about the camera system that I find interesting. Now, you say 1.5 aperture for, lower light situations and so forth, and 2.4 for daylight. Okay, makes sense. Now, here's the thing. The aperture you can change on Pro mode only. On autofocus mode, you can't change it. On live focus, you can't change it. It is 2.4 until it needs to go to 1.5, then it will drop down in low light situations. However, in my tests, and you can actually test this on Pro mode, there's no discernible difference in low light from 2.4 to 1.5. The only time you're going to see a difference is if you actually control the shutter manually. If you keep it at automatic, you don't see a difference at all. However, when you're shooting at 1.5 in daylight, you want to take a nice little portrait, you will get a slightly better depth of field. Not a lot. If you're thinking you're going to get this beautiful bokeh, you're sadly mistaken. That is not what this 1.5 is going to do. It will give you a better depth of field, slightly from 2.4, but overall, it's meant for low light situations. I do wish Samsung would give us more control over this, or really make the difference even more prominent. but it is what it is, and it's a step in the right direction because this is the first time we're actually seeing manual apertures on a smartphone. That leads me into the image quality. Now, recently DxOMark actually gave this the highest rated image quality of all camera smartphones, and rightfully so. Samsung has done a tremendous job on this. However, and I highlighted this in my Note 8 review, Samsung tends to over-process images when you're in autofocus and live focus mode. And what happens is skins become smoother, less detail, a lot of overcorrecting, it's noise reduction coming into play. If you really want to see the true potential of this camera, I recommend shooting in Pro mode because actually the pictures have better contrast, better detail, and it doesn't really take that much longer to shoot in Pro mode than it does in autofocus mode, to be frank with you. So I wish Samsung would have had that balance all throughout their different modes on the camera, but it's something to take note of, especially if you like more detail in your images. Shoot in Pro mode. You won't be unhappy with the results. Speaking of cameras, let's talk about some new technology that Samsung has put into the front-facing camera, and that is intelligence scan. Now, we've heard of Face ID, right? This is Samsung's answer to that. Samsung has always had iris scan and face detection, but it's now put into one system to really unlock the phone in a timely manner. Overall, it works well, but if you're wearing a hat or glasses, it can be hit and miss, and especially in low light situations. Speaking of unlocking, is where the fingerprint reader is at. Look at that, it's at the bottom. It's no longer on the side of the camera. It's right here at the bottom, making it a lot easier to put your finger and unlock the phone, and it does it super, super fast. However, as much as I applaud Samsung for putting it at the bottom, it's still right next to the camera. So I find myself sometimes covering the bottom lens, and I'm thinking I'm unlocking the phone, and it's not because it's really right there, and there's not much discernible difference in terms of feel from the camera to the fingerprint reader. There's a little bit of a bump, but I would like to see them go a little bit down more. This is me being nitpicky, but it needs to be said. Glad they made the change, but a little bit lower would have been even better, especially on the S9 Plus. Another feature new to the S9 and the S9 Plus, which is not turned on by default, is Dolby Atmos. Now, this really improves the sound of the speakers. You've got a better soundstage, better dynamic range, great highs, great lows. I mean, for a smartphone, it sounds damn good. Is it the best sounding smartphone out there? I would say that goes to the Razer phone right now, but it's impressive. But remember, you have to turn it on, and it not only works for videos, it works for any sound that comes out of the S9 and the S9 Plus. Definitely worth it. Next, let's talk about Bixby. Bixby really wasn't good in the beginning. I can say on the S9 and the S9 Plus, it has improved. By how much? It's noticeably better. You're going to see a lot more in the camera application, especially when you want to do, let's say, live translation of text, or if you want to shoot, let's say, a t-shirt or consumer electronics product, or anything you might want to shop for, say, where can I buy this at? It will give you a list of those things. Also in America or other countries, you can actually do makeup tests and put makeup on your face, and I think shop for it if you'd like to do that. Not available in Singapore yet. Hopefully that will come soon. Now, you might be wondering, why does Samsung like to replicate software that Google has? Case in point, Google Assistant, Google Now, they do it with Bixby, right? So I asked Samsung this question, and they said, well, first and foremost, Google at any time can change the APIs. They can make it more difficult for third-party manufacturers. Then everybody that relies on these systems would be kind of left in the dust. Also, Samsung has home appliances. So they have televisions, they have refrigerators, air conditioners, and so forth, which can tie into Bixby, make your home a complete smart home. So it makes sense for them to create this AI of sorts and to really build on it. And it makes sense to me. So to give Samsung credit on this, they've done a better job with Bixby, but I do wish they got rid of the Bixby button on the side of the phone. You're trying to be less buttons on a phone, and you have voice command. I can say, hey, Bixby, it will turn on. I can actually do whatever I want with Bixby, like I can tap it from another application icon, so I don't need the physical button. Samsung, get rid of that button. Another service that Samsung has, which I do want to highlight, is their trade-in program. Now, it's actually kind of cool, and I like what they did with this overall. First off, let's say you have any other phone. It doesn't have to be a Samsung phone, and you want to get the new S9 or the new S9 Plus, but you want to trade in your phone, you want to get some money out of it, right? Well, you can do that with Samsung. First, you got to go to the store. You can go at any store you want to buy the S9 or the S9 Plus. Then you take your old phone, you download the application from Samsung. It will actually do a screenshot of your display. You take pictures of the phone. You sort of give a description of the condition of your phone. They will give you a quote on the app of how much your phone is worth. If you agree to it, a carrier will come by to your house, pick it up, check the phone, make sure it's in working condition, that what you said is accurate. They'll take it back to the warehouse, and in 7 to 10 days, you're going to get money in your account for the value of that phone. It's actually a very good service to try out, so definitely check it out if you're in the market for one of these phones. Another feature in the camera that you're going to see is AR emoji. If you're thinking Animoji, it's Samsung's answer to that. It takes a picture of your face, it sort of makes you a cartoon character. You can talk to it, it'll open your mouth, you can change your hair, put glasses on, change your outfit. It's fun. You can put it into your messaging apps and so forth and send it out that way. It stores as a video file where you have little GIFs of little animations behind you. But I would say it's beta software because you can only do so much with it and the animation isn't as fluid as it could be. But it's worth checking out and it's fun to send to people, especially if you want to have, like, say, a little cartoon character of yourself, or you can use it on a photo as well. So let's say if you want a picture of, let's say, your favorite actor or actress, you can do that and send it off to people. Another feature that's new to this camera is super slow motion. What is that exactly? Well, it's 960 frames per second at 720p. It's cool, it's fun. You can only do, I think, about the total length, like 6-second video. Like 0.2 seconds becomes 6 seconds. But I don't know how many times you'll use this, to be honest with you. It's just kind of a fun thing to show people. Or if let's say you're doing a movie and you want to really capture a moment, it might work. But nonetheless, the technology is there if you choose to do it. Also, you got 4K video in this, and it's stellar. You have optic image stabilization, so you're good to go on all fronts on this camera. It really is a solid performer all around. So to answer our original question, is it right for Samsung to say that this camera has been reimagined? Reimagined is a strong word. I would say the camera has evolved, and in a good way. Both of these are fantastic smartphones and should be on your list if you're in the market for a new one in the coming months. Anyway, like us on Facebook, follow us and subscribe to us on YouTube. Any questions or comments you have, leave them in the comment section below. We'll be glad to answer them. Until the next one, take care.